Yeah, so I guess fair one. I mean, there's a fair amount going on, so bear with me here. But just maybe to give the broader context, I-9 was enacted in 1986. It's primarily for work authorization that I-9 is in place, and there's this foundational historical requirement around the document review portion of this being done in person. Right, so this goes on for decades and decades up until basically 2020 when COVID hits, and all of a sudden, we have to pivot and come up with different ways because people are remote, there's a big pandemic. So DHS, USIS, they essentially put in place some flexibilities where there was some flexibility to do kind of this remote based document verification with the intention of always having that caught up with in person. But I think it was a good moment because it showed, look, something needs to be done here. This is a process that really has to be modernized. And to DHS's credit, I mean, they started looking at that years ago in line with this, sort of seeking public commentary, talking to companies like Sterling and ID.me. And so we were thrilled to see that there's new regulation that came into effect actually just 2 days ago on August 1st that accounts now for basically an alternative document review process, a virtual document verification process. And let me just kind of outline just a little bit how that works and some of the nuances that are with that. So the short of it is that it can be done virtually. There are certain restrictions and limitations here that come into play. So the first is employers must be in good standing with E-Verify and using E-Verify. So just E-Verify is a baseline requirement for this. The second is employers, they can't pick and choose where to use this per se. So let's say they have all their remote employees. They can't say, okay, for Blake, we're going to do this alternative process. And for Caitlin, we're going to, do something, send her to a notary or do something in person. For discrimination purposes, this has to be applied evenly, right? So they can segment out, like, for example, if they have a group of people just coming into the office, they can do that in person. But if they're going to take advantage of the alternative process, they need to do that evenly and across the board for all their employees or all their remote employees. Okay, so that's something important to mention. But when this is in place, basically what it now allows for is the absence of that in-person document review requirement. So employees are able to upload copies of their IDs. Those are then able to be reviewed and essentially virtually proofed for completion of the Section 2 process. So it's a big change, but that's the highlight.